marking out the bones. So what I've done already is the foot. So that's effectively the foot. This is effectively the tibia, and then we're going to put a dot there which makes the femur, and then back of the shoulder blade to make the spine, and then the arms. So this is how we digitize your body. It's interesting, you can get set up on a bike a couple of ways. Did I explain this to you?
No.
Through trial and error and basically getting injured if you get it wrong. Or you come and see us, and hopefully what we do is remove kind of that process. And it stands to reason that you are going to be good anyway, otherwise you would have been injured by now. But you've got a very neat pedaling action, and even in terms of cleat position, your foot is very close to the posture that I would have indicated based on what we saw over there. Yeah, no, it's quite good. Bar width is good. So often you can get kind of numbness in the hand because you're going too wide and you have to kind of lock in, and even coming in too narrow. It's certainly not aggressive. It's what we would suggest for a nice neutral posture on the bike. So we love straight lines. So it's harder to hold that posture, which no one ever does on a push bike, than it is to hold a straight line, but equally getting narrower comes with its issues as well. Coming from a mountain bike, and that being probably your preferred bike, it's always going to feel a bit stretched. So where the front end is quite subjective with the way we set people up. So when you talk about the front and the back end, basically the handlebars is the front end and the back end is cleats, legs, saddle. So I get quite dictatorial about what happens at the back end. At the front end, far more consultative, because at the end of the day, it's how you feel on the bike and what's going on. But at the back end, it really is just 3 levers. So it's a foot, it's a tibia, and it's a femur. And it's a pretty straightforward biomechanical structure. So we can kind of look at it and go, you know what? I know that you feel better at this height, but realistically, this is going to be better because the muscles are at a certain length and they're doing certain things and they're working together the way they should be. So it's not to say we forced you into anything. There's always some consultation. What I'm doing here, Kath, is just videoing what you look like from the side. So we always take pre and post fit information. Just into the drops, please, Kath. Right, back up on the hoods. Are you getting enough air? So we're going to do a posterior view. The reason being it'll be good just for you to see kind of some of the stability stuff we're talking about. Right, so this harness here, it's a series of LED globes. So they flash at 50 times a second, and that thing in the corner of the room picks up what they're doing throughout a 15-second sample set. So then it spits out all this information to me about what angles are being created and all sorts of stuff, and how much deviation you're getting through your knee. And then I sit there and nerd out in it for a bit and ponder what's going on, and then come up with changes. We tend to do a lot of the assessment visually anyway. Part of it is because I think it's just good clinical practice to be observing things, and motion capture stuff isn't always right. I think we have a tendency to believe digital things when we often should be looking at them analytically as well ourselves. Well, that's not working either. You've got very good spinal posture and control. I'd like to see a slightly stronger anterior pelvic tilt. Okay. I'll take you through that when we get you off the bike. That's not something is necessarily in your control. That part of that issue is to do with your hip flexors we were talking about before in the quads.